Hi, welcome to Wise Guys. Writing formulas for binary ionic compound. So this session we're focusing on how to write formula for binary ionic compound. First, I give you some hints. Write the formulas for binary ionic compound follow 4 steps. The first step, identify metal and non-metal. That is most important, because if one is metal, the other is non-metal, then we can follow the following 3 steps. Otherwise, we cannot follow these steps. Okay? So again, identify metal and non-metal. 2 elements, that's a binary ionic compound. And then you write the symbols, label the charges, because for ionic compound, 2 elements, both are ions. And 3, write the subscript to balance positive and negative charges. The reason is, for compound, is neutral. So the number of positive charge total has to be equal to the total negative charges. So that the positive charge and negative charge, they cancel out each other. The total charge for compound is 0, so it's neutral. That's why we need to write the subscript to balance positive and negative charges. This part is most important. This part is most important for us. And after done, you balance it, and then the last step is remove the charges when finishing formulas, because on the formula we don't need labeled charge, but we need a subscript. Okay, let's have an example to you. Okay, so if I have a question is, write down the formula for calcium chloride. Write formula for calcium chloride. Calcium is metal. Chloride is chlorine, actually. The element is non-metal. So we can follow the next 3 steps. So calcium, write Ca, and the chlorine is Cl. Okay? And label the charges. So to label charges, the Ca, the calcium ion, is positive 2. The chlorine is negative 1. So if you don't know the charges, you can go to the periodic table for ions. You need to find the periodic table for ions, so that you can find the calcium is positive 2, and the other is chlorine is negative 1. So this is the periodic table for ions. So then you can see the Ca is second group and positive 2. The chlorine is negative 1 at the 17th column. Okay. After you write the charges, and you need to write the subscript to balance in positive and negative charge. So the subscript represents the number of ions. For this situation, you can see positive 2, negative 1. If you just add these 2 charges, total is positive, right? So if you don't put any subscript, actually you just write CaCl. You say calcium chloride, I write CaCl. This is wrong, because the reason is Ca is positive 2. If you add the positive 2 with negative 1, if you only have one charge, then you got the positive 1. It's not equal 0, not equal 0. So if you write Cl for the formula, this is wrong. Okay? So that's why we need to write the subscript. The subscript, that means the total after you write subscript, the total positive charge has to be equal to the total negative charge. 2 and 1, the least common multiple is 2. So that's why we can, the total, the least common multiple of 2 and 1 is 2. Just like you find the common denominator. So that means total has to be 2, so this is 1, right? This is already 2, so the bottom is 1, the subscript is 1. And this is -1, you make -2, you have to write the 2 subscript. So that you can see in this one, the calcium now, you have 1 ion, each one is +2, plus you have 2 chlorine ion, each one is -1. So you got +2 plus -2, the total charge equals 0. That's, you make it. That's why we need 1 subscript, 2 for chlorine. But as we know, we don't need to write a 1, because 1, we don't need to write a 1 without any number on subscript means 1. So the formula is for calcium chlorine, the correct one is Ca Cl2. Okay, and next we give you some practice question. If you understand, you can follow these 4 steps. You can try by yourself, pause the video, and after you finishing, then you can come back to check your answer if it's right. Practice question: write the chemical formulas for lithium sulfide. So identify both. Lithium is metal, sulfide is non-metal. So we can write lithium is Li, sulfide is S. And second step, label the charge. From the periodic table of ions, you can find lithium is first group. The lithium is the alkali metal, which is a very strong metal. The first group is +1. You can write +1 or 1 positive. In the periodic table, they just write plus. That means +1. So for more clear, you write +1. Sulfide, sulfur is on the 16 groups. The 16 groups is for sulfur is -2. Then you need looking for how many subscripts. Looking for the subscript to balance it. It's +1 and -2. For 1 and 2, the least common multiple is 2. So make 2 if you want to make this -2 charge, just make 2 positive charge. So that's why they equals 0. So this is already 2 negative for each sulfur ion. So we only need 1, right? Only need 1. And this we need 2, right? This is, we need 2 lithium ion. So we need 2 ions. Multiply, each one is +1. So each one is +1. 2 lithium ions, each one is +1. 2 multiply +1 equal +2, and 1 multiply -2, you got total -2. So +2 plus -2, you got 0, right? That's why this is 1. We don't need to write 1. So the final formula is lithium sulfide is lithium Li2S. When you're finishing writing formula, you remove the charges. Okay, this is the formula. Lithium sulfide The next is aluminum oxide. Aluminum is metal, oxygen is non-metal. So aluminum is Al and oxygen is O. And labeled charges, aluminum is 3 positive, oxygen is 2 negative for each ion. Now we need to put a subscript. Obviously you can see the LC, the least common multiple of 3 and 2 is 6, right? Just a common denominator. So this total has to be 6. So this is 6. So that means you have positive 6 and with negative 6, then make 0. How to make negative 6? How to make positive 6? 3, each aluminum ion is 3 positive, so you need 2 aluminum ions make positive 6. And also this one, each oxygen is negative 2 charge, so you need 3 oxygen ions make negative charge, negative 6. That's why they make positive 6 and negative 6 becomes 0. So that's what the formula for aluminum oxide is this one. Formula is this one, Al2O3, because we need to remove the charges. This is the formula, right? This is formula, okay? Next I have another 3 example. 3, sodium chloride. Sodium metal, chloride non-metal. So we can write symbol first. Sodium is Na, chlorine is Cl. Sodium is the first group, is alkali strong metal, is +1. Chlorine is 17 group, is very strong non-metal, is -1. For sodium chloride, then you can see positive and -1, they're already balanced. So +1 plus -1 equals 0. Already balanced. That means 1 ion, 1 sodium ion with 1 chlorine negative ion, they can balance. That's why the formula just NaCl. The formula is NaCl. The fourth one, iron 3 oxide. Iron 3 oxide, we can see with Roman numerals followed by the name. This metal is transition metal. Oxygen is non-metal, because transition metals, they have variable charges. So that's why we need, when naming it, we need name the numeral, Roman numeral, to indicate the charge is positive, which positive. This is positive 3. So that's why we can write L is Fe with positive 3. So sometimes we can write the 3 positive or as positive 3, it doesn't matter, as long as you understand, okay? Oxygen, write 2 negative. Oxygen, as ion, oxygen always negative, okay? So now, to balance it, the same thing with aluminum oxide. So also we, from the previous one, then you can see after this practice, so then you can find some pattern. So this pattern is make you faster, which is shortcut. So you can see these 2 will come to this corner. This 3 will go to this corner. So make 6, 6, right? But you don't need to put the negative positive on the subscript. So now, if we follow this shortcut and say, okay, because this is 3, go to this corner. You have 3 oxygen ions. This is 2 negative. We need 2 iron ions. So make positive 6. This is make negative 6. So this total charge is positive 6, right? Because 3 multiplied 2 is positive 6, and 2 negative multiplied 3 is negative 6, so equals 0. Okay? So remove the charges. The formula is Fe2O3. Okay, the last question. Lead 4 chloride. Lead is transition metal, is Pb, the symbol is Pb. And the chloride is chlorine is Cl. So we write Pb, Cl, liberty charge, the 4 is 4 plus, the chlorine is 1 negative. Then you can see through the shortcut way, the negative 1, the 1 will go to this corner, and the 4 will go to this corner, because 4 times 1 equals 4, positive 4, and negative 1 multiplied 4 equals negative 4. So balance equals 0. And also we don't need to write the 1 if it's 1 ion, so the formula is PbCl4. Okay. If you need more practice, you can go to Min's house at blogs.rrc.ca/min. You can find more worksheets on chemistry. This is presented by Wise Guy. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.